I'm Matt Vanacoro with Ask.Audio, and I'm going to take you through some of these new features and new plugins of UAD 9.2. I've got 5 different new plugins to work with here, and they're all really equally exciting. This is one of the best releases that they've put out in a while. There's a lot of stuff here. So the first one is the UA SSL 4000 G Bus Compressor Collection. And this is sort of like a glue compressor that's been remodeled. It's one that was there already, and now it's modeled with stunning accuracy. And this one is bigger, more powerful, and punchy. The dynamic characteristics of it kind of make it a little bit more conducive for mixing a full mix or subgroups. So for example, in this case, I'll use it on my drum bus to just give a little punch and size to that drum bus. So if I click on the drum bus right now and I listen, so this is a live recording of a great country artist named Haley Mae Campbell. And I'll go ahead and just to make those drums stand out a little bit, it's a country style. His kit was a little small, and they were trying not to bleed too much into each other's areas. So to give it a little bit more bigness, I'm going to enable that SSL 4000 G Bus compressor. Let's take a listen. Great, because there's a little bit of distortion and a tiny little bit of pumping there that's giving it that more modern country rock feel, which is what she's going for anyway. So this is a really great compressor. You can use it on your whole bus, or you can use it on individual items. It's really easy to use. It's got the auto fade function, which I really like as well, and 3 clickable ratios at 2, 4, or 10. So you definitely want to check that one out. It's worth a look. Now, this other plugin is really interesting that they've come out with, the Pure Plate plugin. So the Pure Plate is a really sort of pared down plate reverb. It's their kind of revolutionary plate reverb plugin, and in a really simple, inexpensive package. And it's got all the essential features, including low frequency input filtering. So just that makes it really fantastic for vocals. So if I take this vocal track, I've got some delay on there, but no reverb.
And I just can't handle it, the way you say my name, and the way
even with the delay, it's still pretty dry. So I'm going to go ahead and punch up that Pure Plate reverb, and this is going to give it a little ambiance so it doesn't sound quite so much like that direct dynamic microphone recording.
And I just can't handle it, the way you say my name, and the way that you tell me it'll
never. As you can see, I've got that input filtering right here. I can drop anything off and not reverb anything under 180 hertz, which is really great, especially considering this was a live recording and there's plenty of drums feeding through that mix and stuff like that. So it just helps me cut down on the garbage and lets the vocal stand out a little more with the reverb.
And I just can't handle it, the way you say my name, and the way that you tell me it'll never be the same.
So it's really beautiful reverb. It's very processor efficient. You can use it, it's efficient enough that you can use it just on the individual track like I've done here, or you can bus it and enable the wet solo button right there. So if you're going to bus it, you'll probably want to just get the 100% wet and send whatever you're going to send to it. A lot of great presets with that one too. Now, I am a sucker for the amp sims as of late. I've had UAD all the way back to the days of Nigel. So every time they announce a new amp sim, I get really excited. In this case, the Brainworx Fuchs, the Train 2 amplifier plugin. This is like a boutique amp that's a really edgy and powerful one, but it's got some great crunch and clean tones as well. I thought it'd be perfect for this track. So one of the things I like about it is that it can get rid of that direct guitar quack so well. If you listen to the original track, this guitar recorded direct has definitely a bit of that quack. Yeah, it's definitely got that sort of direct recorded quack sound. So let's open up the Fuchs right now. This is a monster of a plugin. We'll turn it on. It sounds like a really well-mic'd amp, and there's like 100 different recording chains that you can go through. One of the cool things I like too are these quick presets that you can quickly punch up as well. So let's say I want to boost this thrust up to give it a little bit of strength. I could go to B preset, for example, which has the low end pushed up and the thrust pushed up a little. There's a little more beef. And you can can switch between them on the fly without any artifacts. Now, of course, my final product here might want to be somewhere in the middle of those, so I'll make the adjustment, and that will automatically keep it under A. So if I go to B here, go back to A, there it is. My adjustments are made. So you got those just quick presets that you can go through, or you can go through the large amount of provided presets as well. It's a really, really fantastic amp sim. Let's mix that back in.
It'll never be the same. How can you tell me that you don't want to be that?
Now I want to give the bass some love here too. The Softube Eden WT800 bass amp plugin is it's like an iconic amp. You can get some really fantastic rootsy rock sounds out of there. You're talking about Mike Gordon of Fish, Genesis. It's got that really, really cool sort of organic rock sound. There's 4 mics per cab. It's unison enabled, just like the Brainworx is for impedance load matching. So you can feel confident if you're going to run this through your console of your Apollo interface that you can run it over here in the unison slot and you'll get the impedance matching that comes with it. So if I just solo that bass, we'll listen to it sort of by itself. It's a good direct box, but it's a little wimpy. I got a little bit of that sort of hollow sound. It's just not that full. And one of the great things is by combining the cabinet sound and the sound direct from the amp is that you can really shape your tone and get a little bit more precision and hear the fingering, but also at the same time get that depth. So that's one of the things I really like about this plugin is that it's made for bass lines that you need to just fill up the bottom, but at the same time hear the articulations that the bass player is playing.
And the way that you tell me it'll never be the same. How can you tell me that you don't want to be that somebody, please help?
So it's a really, really fantastic plugin. I experiment so much with just the cabinet mic simulations. As you can see, you could change the mics up here that you're using for each of the cabinets. You can change how much the mix of each cabinet that you're listening to compared to the amp sound. It's really, really fantastic. And finally, the last bit that is in here is probably one of the most exciting is you've got auto-tune. You've got Antares Auto-Tune Realtime, which is really fantastic. So now you can run auto-tune like you can a regular plugin, and of course I could call up the UAD version of auto-tune right here in this track, and I could go ahead and fix any little tuning problems I might have in this track. But one of the really neat things is, number one, it will now run on the DSP of your Universal Audio device. And that's fantastic because Auto-Tune is a power-hungry plugin. When you start doing those individual note tunings, it can definitely slow down your system. So being able to offload that DSP to your Apollo is just fantastic. And the other thing, if you do have a UAD audio interface, you can actually load it up inside of the real-time tracking interface. So you load it up in console and you can track with auto-tune on if you want to. And you can record the wet with auto-tune on or record the dry and have auto-tune just for your headphones. It's really up to you. So you can have everyone getting a great tuned mix and record and then be a little more precise in the tracking later on. Or you can go ahead and record with auto-tune on, whether it's for effects or just straight up pitch correction. The choice is yours. They give you some great presets too. So you've got some great presets that are not just like, fix anything in the key of E, but a lot more like some really cool guitar lead, fake vibrato, some really of those. You get some of those really creative auto-tune effects as well. And that's a really great value. So you've got the ability to run it on the interface and run it in the browser. So those are the 5 plugins of 9.2, everything from the SSL 4000 all the way through to Antares Auto-Tune Realtime plugin. There's a lot to dig into, and they do a lot of cool things. I think you're going to really dig this latest release from Universal Audio. I'm Matt Vanacoro from Ask.Audio, and check it out.